Hello, and welcome to this CUBE conversation with Extreme Networks. I'm Bob LaLiberte, Principal Analyst with theCUBE Research. Today, I'm joined by Markus Nispel, Head of AI Engineering for Extreme Networks. And today we're going to discuss the role of AI in NetOps, SecOps, and business operations. Welcome, Markus.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And certainly it's hard to have any conversation today regarding any part of IT and not be discussing AI. And I think this is especially true for the network, which is playing a much more critical role in enabling these highly distributed environments and to make sure it's ensuring secure connections. It's interesting, some of the research that we did showed that more than 9 out of 10 organizations now believe the network is more important to achieving their business goals, which is really important. Yet at the same time, 8 out of 10 say that they believe these network environments are becoming a lot more complex. And when you drill down into it, what's driving this complexity? Well, if you look at the primary driver is increased traffic. And so I've often quipped that it's sort of death, taxes, and data growth are the only certainties in life these days. And certainly from all the DX, right, all the digital transformation and so forth, IoT devices, it's just driving a lot more data, and AI is only going to contribute to that. And so naturally, this leads to discussions about the role of AI and AI ops and what they can play in these environments. However, it's interesting, the research also shows that organizations are saying that supporting these AI workloads and ensuring security is one of their top priorities as well. But it's not like AI and AI ops is a slam dunk, because almost 9 out of 10, 88% of organizations cite that they have challenges just deploying AI ops in their network environment. And when you drill down into that a little further, you find out it's really because there's a lack of a single AI engine to cover all of the network environments, right? That's really their top challenge. So everything doesn't have context. There's just more silos of data. And also, it's not just about AI today, right? Automation is really closely tied to the AI movement. And we've seen that over 90% of respondents from the research are saying that they are using network automation tools. And what's really interesting is that, clearly this would be batch files, things like that. They're all manually triggered. But now you're starting to see almost half saying we're trying to integrate it with AI technology so we can have that AI-driven automation. And one of the top reasons they want to do that is so that they can better optimize the performance of the network. Now, given all that I just went through, Markus, wanted to get your take on all of that. Do you think AI is living up to its promise yet? And what is Extreme going to do to help address that? Because if I remember correctly, you launched Platform 1 in December. So I was wondering if you could give us a high-level overview of what Platform 1 is, and also maybe what inspired its development.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it already, networks have become more complex than ever. And Extreme has been on a mission to simplify not only networking, but also security for a while. We have been the first ones in the industry introducing our universal hardware. We were the first ones introducing universal licensing. But we have also seen in recent years, as you mentioned, specifically driven by digital transformation and also after COVID, that network complexity and volume has been skyrocketing. And with that has been diversification and fragmentation of also applications that are trying to manage those complexities. And with that fragmentation of the application landscape comes a fragmentation of licensing, but also data sets, which make it really difficult for AI to be successful. And that led us to the development of Platform 1, bringing networking, security, networking applications, and security applications together into one platform in order to not only simplify our customers' experience as they manage their infrastructure, but also allowing AI to be effective and efficient, because AI shines as the more diverse data sets you can bring together into a single platform and a single engine. So we have pulled all of that together in Platform One. That was the key driver for us, simplifying user experience, get rid of the application proliferation and the licensing that goes along with it, and make AI efficient and effective.
Yeah, that certainly sounds like a great idea. And obviously that simplification piece is going to be really important for organizations as they are trying to cover these, I guess, much more distributed environments, much more complex environments with the same number or fewer number of people. So having a solution that has a broader reach, having it be simple to use is certainly going to help organizations in their operational efficiency and drive better performing networks. Just out of curiosity, I know you were talking also about a little bit about network and security here. What do you see as the success factor for AI in both networking and security?
Yeah, so certainly for not only for networking and security, but also business teams using the platform, the most important factor for the success of AI is really building trust. And building trust in AI requires AI to be as accurate as possible. And also it requires us to manage and handle data governance, data privacy, data security effectively in the platform. And as our users gain more and more trust into the system and how recommendations are going to be accurate over time and more accurate over time, they will trust the system more and will put more and more activities, journeys, tasks, and workflows onto the platform. In order to facilitate that, we also introduce different ways on how our users and customers can interact with AI in Platform One. As usually you will start with a conversational interface where you can interact with a system, ask questions about data, content, documentation, status of the infrastructure itself, and also get help to accelerate journeys and workflows from hours to minutes. In addition to that, as trust increases, we allow our customers to build and interact with AI, building and interacting to create more insights that lead to a better decision making along the way. And last but not least, we have introduced the concept of autonomous interaction with the system as agents and agentic workflows come to life in Platform One. Entire journeys or part of a journey can be offloaded to AI such that our users can spend their time on more strategic and more proactive activities in their day-to-day work. While they are doing so, it is really important to us to be able to introduce the human in the loop concept as decisions are being suggested. The human always has the ability to either allow or deny, reject those activities by the AI, or use the recommendations and implement them by themselves upon further validation.
Yeah, so a lot of great information there. I really like the fact that Extreme is looking at it from that operator's perspective and almost from a what I might refer to as a cultural and process perspective. And I have a little thing I usually refer to as the time to comfort with AI. And it sounds like you've taken a very thoughtful approach into how teams are going to interact with your AI and be able to put them on a journey and be able to progress through the different capabilities as they become more comfortable with it, as they build that trust with the solution, and they're able to enable the AI to do more and more for them. I also really like the feedback loop. I've been a big fan of that for organizations that are looking for, I think it's a key point to bring out for anyone that's looking for an AI solution, that you always want to make sure that they've got that feedback loop in there. It's a sign of the maturity of the solution, that they're making sure that they're including all of these network operators and security operators that have all these years of experience that are going to be able to make the product even better. So kudos to Extreme for being able to bring those together and be able to incorporate that into the Platform One.
Yes, absolutely. I think that is going to be critical for our users, and the adoption and the pace of how trust is being built will vary based on the type of users, their own experience, and how they plan to use the system. So there's no one size fits all. So we do have to have that flexibility and leave it in our users and customers' hands on how they want to adopt and how fast they want to adopt those technologies. But we give them the tools and infrastructure and the experience within Platform One to do so effectively.
Yeah, and I think that's going to make for some great use cases in the future as organizations become more mature and trust and become more comfortable, and they're able to do more of the advanced use cases with AI and understanding what the additional value it brings in those mature environments. So looking forward to hearing about those. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is, getting beyond just the AI ops story and getting beyond AI and NetOps itself. How are you applying AI not just to these operations, but across the entire infrastructure lifecycle? So if you're looking at it from onboarding, deployment, support, decommissioning, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our mission and vision was to really reimagine every experience for our customers and users, starting with the initial enablement and discovery of the capabilities of our platform itself. So how can you get familiar with the capabilities that do exist, how you do get familiar with how you enable them, and then how you plan a network, how you onboard devices, deploy and operate, and also decommission them. So every part of that user journey, we did take a very close look and thorough look and identified areas where AI can either accelerate that journey, so really bring it down from hours to minutes, where AI could even replace a journey, so replace a pain point that always is an obstacle for customers to overcome, and also identify areas where we can create new capabilities and possibilities with AI that haven't existed before. This is how we went through for both the network operations team, security operations team, as well as business users of the platform. And this is how we have approached it, and we are going to continue to assess what's possible and where AI really can help, not for the sake of AI itself, but really having a deep and thorough look at, is it really AI that is going to make an impact here, and how AI is going to make an impact in that customer journey.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think being able to evaluate that, being able to get it in the hands of the customer, seeing how they're using it, I think we'll also be able to provide a lot of feedback on where it can best be used and how it can best be used to, again, drive those operational efficiencies as organizations aren't just managing on a day-to-day basis, but also, as you mentioned, being able to set it up, being able to do upgrades, being able to patch and so forth, things like that, and how you can drive efficiencies in that space as well. So question, I know you've had the platform in use now internally for several months. Could you provide a little bit of what that feedback is from the internal and partner community on it, and any kind of insights or learnings that you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, we reimagined every step of the journey, but imagining is one thing, but you also want to put it in the hand of your customers as well as partners. For AI, there was no historical reference point that we could work off. So we said, instead of just doing everything in a vacuum, we defined our strategy. We identified those areas where we want to reimagine journeys with AI, but the best way to validate them is to put into users' hands and customers' hands. So what we have done is we started an engagement with our employees, the technical staff, but also key partners that were able and who were able to use the platform over the last couple of months, giving us feedback on specifically how they want to use the platform, what tasks they want to accelerate, replace, or new experiences that they want to create and new possibilities that they want to address, but also use their feedback to improve the system in terms of accuracy and making sure that we have the right content and the right data in the platform to answer those questions and complete those journeys that our test users and partners were looking for. So I consider that really successful. We had over 60,000 interactions over the last couple of months, so a lot of data that allowed us to improve our accuracy and create a positive experience as our test users interacted with the system. At the end, we ended up with significantly more than 90% of those interactions being neutral or positive, which was a great success from our point of view. We did encourage our users to participate actively. We actually gamified the feedback activities as well. So we got not just a standard good or bad, thumbs up, thumbs down type of reaction, but got very specific feedback on what our customers and users want to change, where they stumbled, what kind of additional data they would like to see in the platform, and also what kind of additional journeys they would like us to cover within the platform itself. So really successful. I think for me personally, key was to introduce the gamification component here, which really helped us to get explicit feedback and not just rely on us interviewing customers retrospectively, but getting this feedback right in the moment in the application itself as users were interacting with AI.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you've been able to field test the product before launching it. Right? So you're not doing your final QA with your customers. You've actually got the internal partners and so forth working on it, and again, providing that critical feedback, which is so important to developing these AI products and making sure they're on the right track. And it certainly sounds like you mentioned like 90% being neutral or positive and so forth, interactions with it. Sounds like you're on the right track there. One of the things I wanted to drill down into, though, you mentioned, I think that you've done already about 60,000 actions and so forth. One of the big things that organizations always want to understand is what's the use cases of it? What kind of ROI am I going to get? You've mentioned the time reductions earlier in this. I'm wondering if you can touch upon maybe a little bit more detail around those 60,000 actions that have been taken and where organizations are really finding value in those tasks that they're having AI handle.
So they're finding certainly benefits in all steps of the network lifecycle, but just to give you a specific example around training, enablement, and knowledge management, we did observe also in talking to customers that usually time being spent to find the right documentation for a certain troubleshooting scenario takes several hours. There are thousands of pages that employees need to go through to really understand how to use a system, and those kind of activities we can bring down to minutes and sometimes only seconds, based on the fact that we have not only content but also operational data available on the fingertips. So this becomes way more efficient and results in also a higher user satisfaction on the client side, because you're able to respond to inquiries, to trouble tickets more effectively and quicker, and you can resolve problems much quicker. Also, what we have seen working with our customers is the fact that as skill set shortage exists in the market overall, so it's really difficult to find new talent, new employees, and onboard them with expertise in networking and security. The ability to use AI to onboard them quicker and more efficiently, but also create a more consistent support experience as those new employees in support and operations are using those tools to respond to their client and users' requests, creates a much higher satisfaction again, and allows our customers to hire new talent much more effectively, because they have a much wider pool of talent that they can draw from in the industry and in the market.
Yeah, no, that's a great use case. I had not thought of that one prior, but onboarding new talent, leveraging the AI to help get them up to speed faster is certainly something that I think a lot of organizations, it will appeal to them, given the fact that, as you mentioned, right now, trying to find skilled workers trying to find people who are familiar with AI and networking and so forth is hard to do. So being able to bring them on, maybe less experienced, but having the AI help them get up to speed is certainly going to be a benefit to organizations. One of the other areas that everyone seems to be talking about now when AI comes up is, the agentic model. It's really been a hot topic. I'm wondering if you could discuss maybe a little bit about what the rise of the digital coworkers and how what these AI teammates mean in context of the enterprise infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've written a couple of blogs around agentic AI and 2025 and beyond being the year or the era of agentic AI. You could even argue that agentic AI will replace, or agents will replace AI as the main topic overall, because they allow us to achieve more complex tasks than a traditional, let's say, large language model by itself could do. So if you think about building AI into the platform, it's not just integrating a language model. There's a lot more to do that even for traditional documentation and building up know-how, this requires an entire infrastructure right there. And it also requires an additional infrastructure to create new insights, build insights from operational data, which a language model itself cannot do. Yeah? But also, as we look at more complex tasks and workflows, the only way to achieve and accomplish those is to use agentic technologies, where multiple agents that are specialized on certain tasks using certain tools are interacting with each other. And you, as a user, you have a conversation and instruct some sort of planner or master agent with what the job to complete really is all about. And that master agent then goes off and uses those different agents to initially create a plan, validate the plan is the right plan to achieve that outcome and that job to be done, and then executes them in orchestration with all of those other agents. Yeah. So the outcome is way more accurate and way more effective, and it allows the entire system to achieve those complex tasks more effectively, way more effectively than traditional automation, where all of the scenarios that you want to cover need to be covered in, let's say, rules that somebody has coded before. But in an agent world, this is not required anymore. The agents, and especially the planner agent, will figure out itself how to achieve that goal, and also how to deal with ambiguity and changes in the job to be done, and also changes that might arise along the way as you execute certain steps in the workflow to achieve that task. So this is ultimate flexibility, and gets us as a system to a level of capability that we didn't envision a couple of years before.
Yeah, it certainly seems like this is going to be a technology that's going to live up to the hype, and its ability to do some of that reasoning, being able to think on the fly and be able to come up with answers to problems that maybe haven't existed before by using this technology. So definitely looking forward to that. And just before we leave, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, if I talk about looking forward, what excites you the most about the future of AI and networking and security and business operations? Are there any trends we should be watching out for?
What excites me most is certainly the agentic technology, as you mentioned, key attributes like reasoning to define and refine that plan that is getting executed, enables new possibilities that we didn't think about before. And then alongside that, the level of agency that those agentic systems can achieve, so running more and more autonomously. And as you think about this, those agents become effective co-workers that collaborate with your human staff effectively, collaborate and communicate with your human staff effectively. Yeah. And this excites me the most. So how do hybrid teams between human and artificial intelligence in the future look like? How will they work together? How do you manage those hybrid teams? But also, how do you upskill and enable your human team to embrace that kind of new technology. I think that is also critically important. Trust is one factor, but you also need to make sure that your existing teams do understand the power of AI and really embrace this along the way, because only then you will achieve competitive differentiation that we are all looking for collectively. So there's a lot to be done. I think we are just at the starting point, not only around AI, but really specifically around agentic AI, and the possibilities are really endless. So I think this is going to keep us really busy and allow us to have a lot of conversations in the future about where that technology will take us as an industry, as a market, but also overall as a society.
Well, absolutely. Markus, thank you. Those were some great insights, especially what to look forward to. And I couldn't agree more with a lot of the comments you were making around agentic and what has to go on there and the interactions with the humans and how that develops. I think it's going to be a fascinating space to keep an eye on. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have today. So I want to thank Markus for joining me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and great conversation, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank all of you for watching this CUBE conversation on the role of AI across NetOps, SecOps, and business operations. For more details on Extreme Networks Platform One, please visit the Extreme Networks website.